Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is time blocking. When I first quit corporate America, I felt completely lost. I was a school teacher for 16 years, and then I worked for a Fortune 100 company with a micromanager for a team leader. I went from a bell schedule to online monitoring to no structure at all. A dear friend of mine introduced me to time blocking. Time blocking is simply your personal time management system. You can set it up any way you want, but I will share with you my schedule when I ran our business full time. This may give you an idea of where to start. 7 to 9 a.m. was marketing. During that time, I would address postcards, follow up on leads, read emails from wholesalers, update our website, etc. Marketing is what keeps your business afloat, so I put the most important tasks first each day. 9 to 11 was project management. During those 2 hours, I would create scope of works, I would order materials, check on projects, hire contractors, etc. 11 to 12 was my flex hour. If I wanted that pedicure or pick up a few things from Target, that was my time. 12 to 1 was lunch. 1 to 3 was for education. I would listen to podcasts, read business books, or watch a webinar replay. 3 to 6 was for seller appointments, whether it was off-market deals or walking properties listed on the MLS. This time slot was also based off of my business partner / husband's schedule. We always walked potential properties together, and 3 p.m. was the earliest he could sneak out of work. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. was for local meetups with dinner thrown in there somewhere. So, if I'm walking a project one morning and a seller calls about a postcard they received, I know I'm available anytime that week between 3 and 6 p.m. If my countertop guy calls and wants to meet me on site at a project, I know I can meet him at 9 a.m. the next morning. Now, did I stick to this every single day? Hell no. But it definitely made life so much easier. So I leave you with this question. What will you add to your time blocking schedule? Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us fellow redhead Bob McIntosh. Bob is a national speaker and entrepreneur, having spent over 3,500 hours on stages and has helped more than 15,000 people across the U.S. He's a #1 Amazon bestselling author and has been personally responsible for helping thousands of entrepreneurs generate millions in profits. He's been featured on over 30 podcasts, including this one, and is a founding member of the Forbes Real Estate Council, providing direction and information in the real estate space for all of Forbes readers. He has been published on ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, Yahoo News, Small Business Trendsetters, The Money Show, The Miami Herald, and Wall Street Select. I am lucky to call him friend, so welcome back to the show, Bob McIntosh.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here yet again.
That was a lot you've done, Bob. Holy shit, you are amazing.
Always got to be working it one way or another.
You know, there are people who are talented in doing certain things. You are just talented at everything. It's crazy.
I can't disagree. And for those of you listening, I'm brushing my shoulders.
Well, to start off, I do have to just let the audience know that your dad is one of my favorite humans on this planet. You are second in line, a very close second, by the way. But I do work with your father. We are coaches together. And so I know you have to be top notch because you come from Rob McIntosh. But just wanted to get that out of the way. This is all about you.
If I'm going to be number 2, I'm okay to be number 2 to him.
So you are the man when it comes to marketing, whether it be websites or CRMs. And I want to dive into that. But before we do, tell us how you got involved in all of this.
Yeah. So we started real estate business, flipping houses, doing all that good stuff back in Buffalo, New York. But at the time I had just moved to Los Angeles, 3,000 miles away. And I said, well, how can I be of use to the business? Like, what can I do? I can't walk properties. I can't talk to people there. And so I did a lot of digital marketing. That was what I could do from 3,000 miles away, and raising money, of course, because when you tell someone in LA, you're going to buy, sell, flip, and do everything for a house. And, for less than a down payment in LA, they're like, wait, what? But yeah, so got good at that. And then from there was asked to start teaching and creating curriculum and information for several of the largest education companies. And then from there, just decided instead of teaching it, why don't I do it myself and just help people get it done? Because even though I taught them, more often than not, they weren't doing it themselves anyways.
Oh, gosh, I feel like you're talking directly to me, Bob.
I am directly to you.
I am one of those people where I'm going to figure it out on my own. I just finished reading this book a couple weeks ago called Who Not How, and it tells you to stop figuring out how you're going to do everything, how to do this. And that's what I was doing. And you became a who for me and just really took my business to the next level. And I do truly appreciate it. And I have something a little fun prepared for you. I just got to let you know, because you are my main man when it comes to marketing, online, digital, anything. So we are going to play quickly here. Cool or fool? Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to go through a list of ways to either market, whether it be online, etc. And I need you to just tell me cool or fool. All right, here we go. Cold calling.
Fool.
Facebook ads.
Cool.
Text blasting.
Cool.
Blogs.
Yeah, cool. We'll go with cool.
Postcards.
Fool.
Ouch. Squeeze pages.
Cool.
Door
with an
hanger.
asterisk.
With an asterisk. Door hangers.
Cool.
Google ads.
Right now, fool.
TV commercials.
I'm gonna abstain from this one because I don't know. I've never actually run TV commercials, so I can't speak to how they work.
Excellent answer. Bandit signs.
Cool.
Car magnets.
Cool.
Handwritten letters.
Cool.
Social media.
Cool.
Swag.
Always cool.
Affiliate links.
Cool.
Billboards.
Cool.
Better Business Bureau.
Cool. With like 4,000 O's and like 20,000 L's. So you know that was it 60 Minutes went on and created a terrorist organization, legitimately said we are a terrorist organization bent on destroying the United States, and got an A+ rating on the BBB.
Oh my goodness. And y'all can't see my video, but my jaw is dropped.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So
well, I was just holding up my BBB.
So yeah, BBC is a different channel.
BBB.
We're not looking for that. That's
All
a
right,
different
focus.
podcast, Jen.
All right, I got a couple more. Websites.
Very cool.
Craigslist.
Cool.
Yellow Pages.
Yeah, probably for this fool.
Online reviews.
Very cool.
Influencers.
Cool.
Networking.
Always cool.
Box trucks.
Box trucks. Fool.
Email marketing campaigns.
Cool.
SEO.
Cool.
And the last one, Facebook Lives while driving your car.
I
Please
mean,
say fool. Please say
if I say fool, then, like probably about, half of my 600 Facebook lives are suddenly not cool anymore. So I don't know.
I love it. All right. Thank you for playing that game with me, because there's so many things in there where, you go through these education programs and like, do this, do that. But the point of all this is it is constantly evolving. So what was cool now can be for fools in 2 or 3 years from now. So what would you say, out of all of the stuff that I was just reading, would be the most important thing for someone to start with?
Yeah. So I want to quantify something real quick, right? So all marketing can work. It's just a matter of efficiency. Okay. Right. And so some of them are more efficient, some of them are less efficient, things of that nature. But also things change, right? Like for a long time, text blasts were crushing it. And then everyone was doing text blasts. And all of a sudden that goes down. And like, I feel like marketing in the real estate investing game is like, you ever play those video games where like the guard is walking and they only look one way and they can't see anything else around them except for this one direction, and then like they turn and they can see this direction? That's what real estate marketing is to me. It's like everyone looks in one direction and forgets about everything else. So when everyone's focused on one thing, do all the other things, and you're gonna have more effective marketing.
Ooh, so well said. Man, this is why you are the man, Bob. All right. So going back to my question though, what would be the best place for someone to start if they're just getting into real estate investing? What's the most important thing that they need to do?
So first thing to do is to ask yourself, do you have more time or do you have more money? Okay. Because all marketing takes one of those two, and sometimes both. Right. So, and by the way, if you're someone's going, well, Bob, I don't have any time or any money. Well, you got to figure out if that's the case, and you're maybe not ready for entrepreneurship yet. Let's be real. Like, cause you need to make time somehow. But my guess is if you follow what she just talked about with time blocking, and you actually start blocking your time off, like she said, you're going to find yourself with a couple more hours a day or a week or whatever free. But with that said, understand, do you have time or money? So that's question number one. And then figure out from there, where you need to go. And then number two is understand that right now, in today's market, when we're recording this in 2022, August of 2022, it's a seller's market. So what does that mean? That means that it's going to be more difficult to get deals. Your marketing is going to have to do more marketing to find one deal than you had to when, I started marketing heavily for deals in 2010, right? I could sneeze and find a property. Literally, it's like, okay, they were selling properties and they called them REO tapes. I don't know if you remember that. It's like, hey, I've got 125 properties I got to get rid of. Like, what are you willing to pay for them? Right. Like, whereas today, wow, like, I don't even think that's a thing at this point in time. But the point is this, it takes more touch points than ever. And so what's working right now is fine. And by the way, every market's different too. What you're going to find in your market may be different than what I tell you, what I see, what Jen sees, what anyone else sees. But the more important thing is we're seeing right now on average to get a seller to commit to selling takes an average of 14 touch points.
Oof.
Okay. When I started, it was 6 to 7.
Goodness.
Right. And a lot of times you could do it with 5 if you were really good at marketing. But today it's closer to 14. Now, there's pros and cons to that process. The pro is this: it's never been easier to automate and create more touch points. It's literally easier today than it ever has been. Right. So that's a pro. The con side is, I guarantee you, most of you, if you're saying I'm struggling to find deals, then I would be willing to bet if I said, are you touching your average seller 14 times? The answer 99% of the time in my conversation so far is no. In fact, most of the people are touching them 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times at most, which means you're not even a quarter of the way to where you need to be.
Right.
Okay.
Well said.
Or maybe you're a little more than that, but the point is this: you've got to get more touch points. But touch points can be easy. It can be a text, it can be an email, it can be a postcard, it could be a letter, it could be a billboard. Anything is a touch point. You just need to have more of them. But it's never been easier to create more, and more specifically, it's never been easier to automate those touch points than it is today. So that's what I would say.
So how does one automate these touch points?
Great question. Through a great CRM.
Okay. Now, you and I have been...
I teed that one up for you.
You and I sat together recently at a conference, and I was like, yeah, I don't use a CRM. And you're like, what? So convince me, Bob, why would I need a CRM? First of all, what is a CRM?
Yeah. So CRM is a wide term. It means a lot of things to a lot of people. Generally speaking, it means customer or client relationship management software. And it's a fancy way of saying this. It's a place to store all of the contacts that you talk to, everyone, whether they be a private money lender, investor buyer, retail buyer, seller, contractor, agent, whoever, right? It's a place to store all of their information, all of your communication with them, all of the touch points that you need to have with them. And if it's a good one, it can also help you automate those touch points through some sort of, workflows, automation sequences, whatever they call them. They all call them something different, but the CRM will handle the automation for you so that you can focus on just getting more people in the door and into your CRM and let it do all the heavy lifting for you.
So what are some things that it does?
Yeah, so a good CRM is going to do a couple of things for you. And by the way, the first thing, the biggest misconception of CRMs and tools in the real estate space is this. Well, I need to have one tool that does everything.
Okay.
You don't.
Right.
You don't, right? Let's be real. Like you go to some of these tools and look, it's great that they have, 3,000 features in them. But my guess is for most of you that are on those tools, right, you're using less than 10 of those 3,000 features. Okay. And I would also argue if you're using a lot and you were to actually start tracking back details and look at what's truly generating revenue into your business, there's going to be probably less than 5 of those features that actually move the needle forward in your business. Right. And what are those features generally speaking? First is some sort of communication. That should be text marketing, email marketing, etc. Because that's touch points. That's how we get in front of more people.
Now, you poo-pooed my postcards.
I did.
Okay, why?
Well, so I just think that there's more effective ways for the cost. Postage is going up. It's slower. And it depends too, right? Like I'm not saying postcards don't work. And by the way, most of the things that I said fool on, I don't necessarily think that, hey, you're wrong, you shouldn't ever be using them, but I just think that there's more effective tools out there to get in front of people that are more automatable, if that's a word. We're going to go with it. Sounds like a good word to me. And more importantly, they allow more tracking. Right. So like our CRM that we have, for example, when someone comes to a squeeze page or they respond to a text or they open an email or they click a link or they do anything within our system, I can track it. And so what that allows for me then to do is say, well, if I've got someone who's done more stuff, they've clicked more links, they've opened this, 3 or 4 times, they've, the level of interactivity is enhanced. When I know that, I can make better, more efficient decisions. So now I can say, okay, for example, every action assign a point value to, and when someone reaches a certain level of point numbers, I'm going to automatically create a task for me to call them. Because guess what? If they've reached that level, there's a level of interest that they're expressing. And I don't get that with a postcard. I can't see, how many times they look at it, are they thinking about it? Maybe they pick up their phone and then the phone rings and then they're like, oh, it's Susie. You got to talk to Susie. And then they talk for 2 hours and they forgot about your postcard and, whatever. Right. So I want that trackability and I want the automation behind it. Now, does this mean that you can't use both of these in combination with a postcard? Absolutely not. Right. If it was me and I was doing postcards, I would make sure and say, hey, do you want a free valuation on your home? Or do you want, some freebie, depending on the marketing campaign you're running, and say, hey, if you want this, text, freebie to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. And by doing that, now I get them into my system. And now I've got a postcard and I've got a text. That's 2 touch points.
Okay.
Right. Because they text me, that's considered a touch point, and they got my postcard. That's another. So now I am 2/14 of the way to getting that deal.
2/14.
Or 1/7 of the way if you're a fractionaire. But that's why. So again, it's not that they can't be used, it's not that they're bad in any way. It's just understand that there are tools, and a good CRM will increase and automate those touch points so that, because let's be real, right? Let's do easy numbers. Let's just say you had 1,000 people that you wanted to mail, which is a fairly small mailing in most cases, but let's just say 1,000. Okay. That means if you have 14 touch points and you were doing them without automation, that's 14,000 steps or actions or things that you have to do. 14,000 for 1,000 people. That's not sustainable long term. No matter how good you are at what you do, no matter how much time you have, at some point, that's not scalable to enough of a size to make your business really explode and do whatever it is that you're after, like what's on your vision board, right? Most of us don't put a vision board of, oh, I want a small 1-bedroom condo in the basement of a building, in downtown Raleigh, that smells like mold. Like that's not, that's what 14,000 touch points looks like manually, right?
Gotcha.
So that's why.
All right. Now, how I run my business, so convince me here, Bob. How I run my business is I have all incoming leads, meaning I do letters, postcards, sometimes bandit signs. So if somebody is calling me, it's because they literally want to sell their house or they want to get on my buyer's list if I'm a wholesaler. I get those a lot. But these are just inbound leads, and then I either buy their house or I don't, and they move on to the next investor. So what would I use a CRM for?
It's a great question. So let me ask you this. On an average month, how many inbound leads do you get? Guesstimate. Doesn't have to be exact.
Let's go with 15.
15, perfect. And how many outbound letters, postcards, et cetera, do you send out?
Ooh, good question. So I do about 300 postcards per week. And
okay, so that's 1,200 postcards.
Yes. And then sometimes I will do letters as well. And then I have...
Is that like another 300 per week?
No, that would be, let's just say 1,000 a month.
Okay. So now we're at 2,200.
And then bandit signs, my website, Facebook stuff, just things that I'm posting on Facebook, word of mouth referrals, etc.
So could we average, and let's just say there's about 3,000 pieces of marketing that you might put out on an average month. That you feel like that's a fair assumption?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're getting 15 calls from 3,000 pieces of marketing, that means you're at a 0.5% response rate. 0.5%, not 5%, 0.5%, 1/2 of 1%. So let me ask you this. If you could automate some of those touch points from that 3,000 and get that number to just 1% and double your leads, how many more deals could you be doing in a year? Or how much more money could you be making?
But the leads coming in are much hotter than me chasing down leads as far as doing outbound marketing, where I'm doing...
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So out of those 15 leads, I can close 5 of them. And that's, that's plenty for me for what we want for the month. But as far as organizing all of that and putting it into a CRM, like why would I need that?
Because you're assuming that you are the one that has to go do all of the work.
Yes.
And this is true for the first time only.
Oh,
and
Bob.
Then every single piece thereafter is 100% automated. So now all of a sudden, right, all of that extra work that you picture yourself having to do has to be done one time and can be used forevermore. And I would go further to argue, while 5 deals, a month for you is more than sufficient, right? What if you could take an extra 10 and just wholesale them off, or say, look, I've got hot leads. These people are ready to roll. I don't want their shit. Excuse my language, but their property, right? I don't want it.
We can say shit, by the way.
And so, you sell hot leads to someone. So someone might be willing to pay $400 or $500 for a hot lead that you have to do nothing more with than say, here they are, go talk to so-and-so. Right. And now all of a sudden you've got, even, let's just keep numbers simple. Let's just say $100 for a hot lead. You sell another 10 leads. That's an extra $1,000 a month in your pocket. Right. Your CRM, if you go with us, is only going to cost you $200 a month. So that's a net positive $800. That's another almost $9,000, $9,200 a year, almost 10 grand in your pocket for doing nothing more than creating something one time and letting it run automatically forever.
Yeah. You got me at the automation. Like, we could just end the podcast right here because boom, that's all I needed to hear. So I do appreciate that. And I see it, and I do see the value, and I'm just giving you a hard time because I know how amazing
this is my favorite thing. It's like, so it's we got some Jordan Belfort, sell me this pen. It's like, okay.
All right. So CRMs, and then I just hired you again to do, well, you did a different business for me before, but you just took over my website. So why would someone need to take over somebody else's website?
Yeah. So here's the thing with websites today. First and foremost, 94% of people start their buying decisions by searching online. So even if they got your marketing, even if they got whatever they got from you, they're going to want to know who you are and they're going to look you up. So that's going to be number one.
Yep.
Right. So they're going to go to your website. So if you, the only thing worse than not having a website is having a bad website. Number two, 94% of people base their impression of a business on the web design alone, and 78% judge a business's credibility on the web design alone, which means even if you have a site, but it's old, it's outdated, or you bought someone's template from, one of the gurus and they said, oh, it's okay, this is a great template, it's been tried and tested, it works, it's whatever. No, it's a bunch of BS. If it's old and dated, you are losing out on business. In fact, 40% of people will actively leave your website if the design is old and dated. So this goes back to, again, you're putting out effort in marketing, particularly if you're a new investor. This is even more important, right? You're putting out, your hard-earned time that you can't get back, or your hard-earned dollars that you had to work your ass off for to get these leads in the door. And you're losing out in a best case scenario, you're losing out at 40% of your leads if your design is old. 40% of your leads that could become business are simply leaving because you have an old, outdated site, right? And so when we talk about marketing, we talk about how do we utilize marketing. The first line of defense to keep people in the door and keep them conversing and getting them to pick up the phone and call and talk or text or whatever, all of that, that happens because, or more of it can happen because your design is up to date, modern, fresh, clean, and meets the minimum criteria for what they're looking for, which is usually, can you help me achieve my goal, solve my problem, or answer my question?
Okay. Well, that was leading into a question of what type of design things do they need on their website that's going to make them stand out. But are there aspects to like maybe different pages on a website that you shouldn't be using anymore, that screams being outdated?
Yeah. So it's a couple things, right? Obviously, when it comes to sites, mobile friendliness is a huge one. So if you can't have your site as a mobile friendly site, you're already losing out. Because right now, approximately 70%, particularly in the real estate space, about 70%. If we look at all of our sites, it's like 72, it ranges between 72 and 75% on a monthly basis of all visitors are visiting from either an iPhone or an Android phone. Okay. So that right there already that. So if your site doesn't look good on mobile, you're already losing out. And then secondarily to that is that if your site doesn't look good on mobile, Google can tell that and they'll penalize you as well.
Damn it, Google.
The Goog's always on it. So that's number one. Number two is information gating. And what I mean by that is put your name and email in to get this thing that you were looking for in the first place. And here's the thing. The information gating works great in certain areas or arenas when you have either proprietary information that they can't get anywhere else, some secret system or sauce that you put together on how to do this, or something else that they can't get from anywhere else. The problem with real estate is that nothing that we do is unique or secret or proprietary, right? I don't care what state you're in. The process to close a house is the same. We put it under contract. Okay, the contract might change, but you got to put under contract. We sign the contract. We execute the contract. Either an attorney or a title company or both are involved. Then we go to escrow, right? Like it's the same process. It doesn't matter who you are, right? You're doing private money lending, same process. You're buying a house, same process. There is nothing unique in the real estate market. And so gating information just frustrates folks because there's someone else out there in your market right now who's more than willing to give it for free. So what does that mean for us? That means don't gate information. It means whatever they want, you give them all the information up front for no cost, no charge, no email, no phone, no opt-in, nothing. Like literally just here it is. And what happens in the real estate space is when you do that, they go, wow, this person really actually understands what I need, what I'm looking for, and how to help me. And because they understand that, they want to work with you more and they're more likely to connect and contact you in the first place. So don't information gate. And then the last thing is using generic video. And what I mean by that is don't go out and have Lisa from Fiverr who says, "Hi, welcome to so-and-so properties. We're excited." You know what I mean? Like, no, just don't. Here's the thing. If you and 40 other people have Lisa on their site, Lisa loses all credibility and the video becomes pointless. I would rather have an absolutely terrible video of you talking about what you do
driving
than
in my car,
any Lisa. Yeah, whatever it might be. Cool. Sitting in a hotel room, right? I mean, literally, I saw one time. The guy's like clearly was like standing like 15 feet from the camera. You could barely hear him, right? But here's the thing: even though the video was terrible, I still see you. And then if you're the one that I'm speaking to, you're the one that answers the phone. You're the one that shows up at my door to sit down at the kitchen table and sign the contract. When it's you, the bridge of trust is built a whole lot faster. And when that happens, you close more deals, right? And by the way, we all have smartphones now. It's not difficult to record a good video. If you got an iPhone or an Android phone that was built in the last 6 or 7 years, you can record a very high quality video very quickly and simply. And it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the script or what to say. Just say what you want to say, because if it's authentic and it's real and it's you, it will come across that way. If it's some script that you don't know, it will not.
That whole authenticity is what blows my mind, is people who are so inauthentic. And it's just like, how do they not see this? But anyway, going a step further here.
So let me talk about that just real quick.
Okay.
So the reason that people do the reason that they do that is because they were told this is the script, or because they're so insecure in what their own thoughts are that they think they need a script. But the reality is that if you simply, like, what you do, right? You know the process, you know your business, you know what you need, what's going on, and you don't need to provide like 8 levels of depth into what you're doing. It's simply like, hey, we can buy your house. My name's Bob. I like people. I got bright red hair. You know what? That's why I stand out. You should definitely sell your house to me. If you like gingers, you should definitely sell your house to me, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Just be authentic, and it comes across 10 times easier. The script is irrelevant. When people say it's irrelevant, the authenticity will outweigh anything in that nature.
And thank you for pointing that out. And I want to go a step further talking about videos. And when I hung out with you recently at a conference, you had me do my first reel, and
yes.
I have yet to do anything on TikTok, but how does one make more money using reels?
So it's a good question. Well, first and foremost, at least right now, through September 6th. So I don't know when this is going to air, but at least then, and they keep repeating the process about every 2 weeks or so. You can literally make money by posting reels. So literally Facebook and Instagram are so desperate for people to post reels that they will pay you, give you free money just to post reels. Case in point right now, let me pull it up right here. I am currently, I don't know if you see this or not, and those of you who are listening, $69.27 is how much Facebook has paid me for posting reels in the last week. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now look, like, it's not, it's $69. It's not going to be life changing.
How do you do that?
But you just sign up and say, hey, I want the reels bonus. And literally, if you get enough views on your reels, you get a bonus. They'll just give you money. All right. So the more you make, the more likely you have to maximize the bonus. And I think the maximum you can get is like $1,200 in this period. All right. So that's one way. Obviously, it's not significant, but the more important way is that right now, for at least the next 3 months, hopefully the next 6, maybe the next 12 months, but probably not, the algorithm is optimized and promoting reels. So that means your reach can be dramatically increased way over your actual follower count. And this is a short period thing. Basically, Instagram specifically is losing to TikTok. They're losing massively. So they created reels to try to compete, but no one was making reels. So now they're incentivizing you by giving you money, but also by giving the algorithm a boost to reels. So just case in point, right now for the last 2 weeks, just for posting reels, of which I've posted, I think 15 reels so far in 2 weeks, or, a little like 2.5 weeks. My reach is up 1,530%. All right. In 2 weeks, 1,530% over. And I did this on purpose. The 2 weeks prior, posting just regular posts. And then both times I would do stories. I do, maybe 3 to 5 stories a day on average. Right. The stories don't account for a ton, but here's the point. right? The algorithm right now is pushing you out. So get out there and create reels. It literally does not matter what you even put in your reel.
That
They're
was my
just
next
so
question.
desperate. Like they're so desperate for people to create reels. And the only trick that you really need to do to make it work better for you is pick trending music, and the music doesn't even matter. Like if you go to any of my reels, if you go to @the Bob McIntosh on Instagram, you look at my reels, you'll notice every single one of them has a trending song in the background, but I dropped the music volume down to like 8% or so. So it's there, it's in the background, but you can't really hear it. It's not about the music. It's about whatever I'm saying in the video. But that also allows you to capitalize on the trending songs, which will just give you a little extra boost of reach. And so use this to get seen. So case in point, my last few weeks have been talking about a CRM and websites, of which so far 3 people have reached out to me and signed up for services with us just because of the reels that I post out there. Now you may go, okay, Bob, that's not that many, but that's 3 people that I didn't have before.
Right.
And our CRM's $200 a month. So that's an extra $600 a month in my business coming in.
Plus the $69. Plus that
plus the $69 that I'm going to use to, well, I can't really say what I'm going to use it for, but it'll be fun. I'm in New York City. It'll be fun. I promise.
Well, Bob, I mean, it is just obvious why you are so good at this, because you are always on what's trending and talking about not the optimization. What is the word? Algorithms. So you know these algorithms, and that just takes, because when I first started in Facebook, I did Facebook ads, and then the algorithms got so bizarre on certain things. And I know they switched from doing videos to now doing videos with captions, for example, or whatever it is. And it's just, what is it that is attracting people? And that's why people need someone like you to guide them through this. So how can listeners find you?
So I am on all social platforms at the Bob B-O-B McIntosh, McIntosh. No A in my last name.
Okay. And then what is your website?
Website, you can go to go3dc.com.
And that's 3 Degrees Consulting.
Yeah, and that's a number 3, not the spelled out word, just number 3.
Perfect. Bob, you are always so great to have on the show, and I had you on like episode 50 or something. You're going to be my episode 120, and then I hope to have you back in another 50 or so episodes when things change again, and you can guide the audience on what is super hot right now. And people, you've got to reach out to Bob, because I trust him with my business. I've been working with him for years, and he will only benefit yours and grow your business tenfold. So definitely check him out. All right. The second half of the podcast is what makes Bob McIntosh a badass. And I use the acronym BADASS. And the first letter is B for book. You can't use any of the same stuff you said last time, by the way, just so you know.
I don't even remember what I said last time.
Either. So
I mean,
B
I
for
probably
book.
Said my favorite book is, Get Out of Your Own Way Now by Bob McIntosh.
Yes.
But,
Yes, and that's on Amazon, by the way.
On the Amazons, and pretty much on Amazon.
Okay, so
no audio format, just Kindle and hardcover.
Okay, all right. But besides your own book, what is a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
So another book, actually one that I read recently that I liked a lot was Culture Code by Dave Coyle, I think it is, Coyle. Don't quote me on the author, but it's called The Culture Code. But it talks about how you build culture in your business. And I think right now, no matter whether and for those of you who, even if it's just you or you and one other person, think about what culture do you want to create. As the younger generations come up, and they're the ones that we're going to start hiring and bringing in, they care more about culture fit of a company than anything else. And so if you don't know what your culture and a business is going to be, you don't know, you're going to find mismatching continuously, and it's just going to cause you a lot of frustration. So understand what it is, what you're doing, what you're after, how to build it, and how to attract it. And you'll find the right people that come in your business.
Love it. And it's Daniel Coyle, by the way.
Daniel Coyle. There we go. Thank you.
All right. The first A in badass is advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice I've ever received was execution. Execution trumps all. just get things done. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it kind of ties into done is better than perfect, which is similar, but just go out and do things. As an entrepreneur, you're by yourself when you start in most cases, or, you and a couple partners maybe. But the point is execution, half-assed execution will trump anything else that you do. So
get out of your own way. Exactly. All right. The D in badass is drive. What drives Bob to be successful?
My drive is primarily motivated by freedom. I mean, which is, a generic thing that most people say, but more specifically for me, I wanted the ability to travel, the ability to be wherever I wanted to, and not have to, fill out a form and request time off and then wonder if I'm going to get it or not. And, all that shenanigans.
Yes.
So that's the main driver of what I do.
So where are you right now?
I am currently in New York City, and I have, I believe, over the next 2.5 months, 13 cities I will be in. So,
wow. Goodness, the traveling Bob. All right. The second A in badass is aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what's a goal you are currently working on?
Big goal, big time goal is 100 doors in our rental portfolio. We're at 30, but I want to be at 100 by the end of the year.
Very nice.
We got some ground to catch up on, but look, even if I get 70, I'll be happy. But at the end of the day, 100's the goal.
Well, my goal is 101 doors. Kid you not, because another investor.
Well, shit, mine's 102 now, then.
I was going to say another investor in the area is like, I want 100 doors this year. I'm like, I want 101. So we are 18 in. So you definitely have me beat, but we got some in the pipeline. So awesome. I love that. Are you doing multifamily or doing single family homes?
Multifamily, mostly 6, 8, 10 units up to like maybe 20, 25. In the Buffalo area where we're buying a lot of them, there's not a lot much bigger than 20. Most of it's, 6 to maybe 18.
Gotcha. All right. All right. The first S in badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I have a fantastic CRM that automates all my text and email marketing.
Good call.
You knew I had to say it.
I love it. And, there are so many people who use you for their CRM, and I know they are just completely successful. So I back that up 1,000%.
By the way, do you still use ClickFunnels?
No.
You got rid of it? Okay. I know you did for a while because I helped you with ClickFunnels. Our system is basically the same as ClickFunnels. I would say, hey, so you're already kind of using a CRM in a way.
So ClickFunnels, yes. I called you in desperation one time because I was like, who is going to help me do this? And of course, first name comes to my mind is Bob McIntosh. I'm like, dude, I'm going to pay you $100. I just need you to get on the phone with me and fix this. And you did. And because you are so good at everything that you do with digital marketing, etc. So yours it's a ClickFunnel. Is it through ClickFunnels?
It's not. It's our own system, but it's exactly like ClickFunnels and does even more than that.
I was going to say, because, I had a little love-hate relationship with ClickFunnels, so I'm glad yours is better. All right. The final S in badass is success. What does success mean to you?
Primarily being able to make it rain at the strip club. Okay, maybe not really, but
I've heard make it rain from my podcast, but at the strip club. Excellent. You are so funny.
I figured I should quantify. For me, honestly, success looks like me being able to do whatever I want, live the life that I want, and bring my friends along with me and hopefully help empower them to have the same thing. So I have several close friends that I love and I want for them the same that I want, and if I have to, drag them kicking and screaming along with me until they do, then that's cool. But they're coming with me whether they want to or not.
Well, I think you are awesome. And you heard me earlier in the episode do a badassery bestowment. Do you have a badassery bestowment you could share with the audience? Just a little nugget, just a little nuggetage.
Little nuggetage. I like that. So the biggest thing I can say is, and this is something that I've been learning, especially for the last couple months, really, is volume. And what I mean by that is entrepreneurship takes significantly more volume than we ever think it will. And when I mean volume of marketing, volume of offers you put out, volume of messages that you send, volume of deals that you make, volume of your voice being heard in the marketplace. Everything is a factor of volume. And if you increase your volume 10x, right, you may not see a 10x increase in your business, but it'll probably be 2, 3, 4x. And that's the thing. Most of us are too afraid to dramatically ramp up the volume of things we're doing. But the moment that you do, the universe hears that, for lack of a better way to put it, and will abide. And just a quick story about that is, at the event that we were at was kind of my first foray back into the real estate investing space from an event standpoint, right? We've been doing a lot of stuff in the real estate space before that, but from an event standpoint, speaking and all that. And I was like, man, you know what? I forgot how much I love being at events for real estate investors. They're just different than like if you go to an e-commerce event or something else like that. And I said, you know what? I want to do more events. And literally in the 2 weeks prior to that event, I reached out to a bunch of people, put some posts out there and just said, I want to do more. And no joke, in 2 weeks, I had the next 3 months of events booked, like events literally in my pipeline to go speak at and be at. And the thing is, all I did was increase the volume of me asking, and the volume returned back to me. And so for all of you listening right now, if you're not happy with where you're at, if you want more, it's not hitting on all cylinders, you feel like, increase your volume first and then see what happens.
Well, I think you are far from fool and super cool. So, Bob,
Yay.
Thank you very much. And that was a perfect badassery bestowment. And one more time, how can the audience members find you?
Yeah. So if you want to get a hold of me on any social network at the Bob McIntosh, you can email me if you'd like at bob@go3dc.com, the number 3dc.com, go3dc.com, bob@go3dc.com, or go to our website, www.go3dc.com, or find me someplace. I'm the only guy with bright orange hair named Bob in real estate, as far as I know anyways.
Well, Bob, thank you very much. And that is all. Thank you for listening. And we will catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.